Sandra, and I'm the program manager. So we are going to record this meeting so we can share this out afterwards, and you can share it with anybody that wasn't able to attend, or with administrators, or anybody part of your green team. We'll also be sharing out the presentation afterwards, so don't worry about snapping pictures or taking too many notes. We will be sharing everything, including the presentation, links, resources, everything that we're going to cover today. You will be having a copy by early next week. So Dream in Green, if you're not familiar, we have a lot of familiar faces, but I do see some new teachers, so we're excited to have you participating this year. Dream in Green is a nonprofit located here in South Florida, and our mission is really to empower individuals, especially youth, to respond to climate change and other environmental challenges facing South Florida. So we just want to take a second to thank our sponsors. We can't provide this program to you all without them. This is a free program, and so generous sponsors help us to create this and deliver this to you free of charge. These are some of the partners that we are working with this year. We'll meet some of them later on today, but these partners we work with to provide you guys with special opportunities. They help us write some of the curriculum that we'll go over, but this is just some of the partners. You can see there's a wide variety of local and even national organizations that we do work with. Just some housekeeping points. I know that Barbara had mentioned it already, but if you're here to receive master plan points, these are the requirements for doing so. So please make sure that you do drop your name and your school name in the chat at some point during the training today. And then afterwards, there will be an evaluation on My Learning Plan, and then there will be an additional evaluation from Dream in Green. Again, you'll get all of this probably by Monday, but you do need to complete those things in order to get points. So if you did not get a chance to register through My Learning Plan, please in the chat drop your name, your teacher ID, and your school name, and we can retroactively add you. But you still need to complete the 2 evaluations. And if we do have some private school teachers here, so if you do need some kind of certificate or some kind of letter stating that you generously gave up part of your time on Saturday to join us, please just email me separately after the meeting, and I will create some kind of certificate that you can share with your administration for joining us. Just to take a quick look at the agenda, we are going to be, going over the Green Schools Challenge and what that means. We'll be looking at our online guidebooks or curriculums that we'll share with you, and we'll do a little bit of a breakout session, kind of brainstorming on, how we can integrate this into the classroom, and then we'll do some closing remarks. And what's not in here is we do have some partners that will be popping in to say hi and to share some of the resources that they have as well. Barbara, if you want to.
Yes, and Alex, I don't know if you can fix the screen, but I can see all of the next slides with the notes. If you can put it on the
okay.
display.
Let me. While you go over that, I will fix that.
No problem. And so Dream in Green has been around for 16 years, and the Green Schools Challenge has 2 main programs. The Green Schools Challenge is the whole systems program that has hands-on activities and lessons from pre-K through 12th grade that focus on saving energy and water schools, and also talks about the links between natural resources, climate change, and sustainability. We also are very happy to offer grants for schools from October through March, up to $350 that you can apply for different green initiatives that align with one of the monthly themes that we'll talk about throughout this presentation. Next slide. And so we're very happy that throughout our 16 years, now starting our 17th year, we have been able to make some impact. And here on the screen, if you can see, through the lessons and activities that the students have done, that teachers have implemented in their classroom throughout, we have been able to save Miami-Dade County Public Schools over $4 million in energy costs. That equates more or less to close to 45 million kilowatts hours of electricity saved. and 68.3 million pounds of CO2 emissions offset. So we're very happy to be able to, share the impact of our programs with you.
And I will take a moment to share the training video that we put together for you guys. It's just kind of a snapshot of, the overall program, who we are. And then again, this is a way you can share this out with your team that couldn't be here today. And you can always reference back to it because everything will be online and available for you at any time you need. Can you see the video, Barb? Yeah, okay. Perfect.
Yes. What I can't is
hear it.
Yeah, I can't hear it, Alex. Give us 1 second.
I think by now we would have all this,
Right.
figured out, this text.
So when you share, you have to share, and there's a little
Yeah.
choice when you
No, I
on the
did.
share screen to share sound.
Yeah, I opted into that, so.
Okay.
Let me see if it's just my. Still no?
I could
Sorry.
hear it.
Oh.
I can
That's
al-
what-
I can
But
hear the
no-
music
no,
when
not
there's
anymore.
somebody talking, and I can't hear them talking underneath. I hear the music. I think that's from your speakers, like where you're at.
Yeah, maybe. Let me see if.
Alex, you want me to try and see if
Yeah.
it works
If you want to try.
with mine? Yeah, I
When
we
in,
would.
when in doubt, that's why we double up on this. We can,
Give
see,
me
it could be-
1 second.
yeah.
And we're gonna try it now. Give me 1 second, since I think mine was working. So maybe share sound, and you all just let us know. Can you all hear?
Yes.
Still can't hear. I think it's that
No.
people have not muted their sound.
No, I can't hear. I can see your mouth moving, but no sound. I can't hear what you're saying.
Is there a way again, to I can download hear
the
the
video?
music, but I can't hear the person talking.
So here's what
Sometimes-
we're gonna do. We're gonna pivot and we're gonna put the link in the chat. And you guys can watch the video later and share it with your coworkers, parents, and like that, because I, don't want to have you guys trying to fit all this text. So I am going to stop sharing, if that's okay with everybody. So again,
Can we watch it now? Like just take like 10, 15 minutes and watch it now?
Yeah, we can do that. The video is 12 minutes. So that actually might be perfect, because then we can check our attendance as you all are watching the video, or maybe wanting to get some coffee or anything. So let's do that. Let's all meet. You can watch the video individually. We're going to be checking in all of you guys. So again, if you haven't put your name on the chat, please do so. And then we will be back in, let's say 9:22, at 9:22.
No, that's 3 minutes. You mean
Oh,
9:30?
sorry, 9:32. So I was looking at so 9:32, please. And then please watch the video and we'll be right back.
to implement outreach activities throughout South Florida. Green and Green offers two programs to our community. Our flagship program is the Green Schools Challenge, a whole systems program that engages students in hands-on activities to save energy and water at school and teaches them about the
Okay, so hopefully you were all able to view the video, and like I said, it gives you a good, snapshot overview of the program. Feel free to, reference that or share that out with the rest of your team. So basically we'll just go for a little bit longer now. We'll go into more detail about what the video covered. So overall for the Green Schools Challenge, some of the program features and benefits that we want to share with you is that, we do provide support to the schools throughout the school year. So staff support, myself and Barbara are, on hand to assist you with anything that you may need. So like we said, we do professional developments like this throughout the year. This one is specifically about, kicking off the Green Schools Challenge and how to incorporate it into the classroom. But we do other professional developments throughout the year. So last year we did some on, specifically energy efficiency and, introducing solar. We did a PD on citizen science, and we did another on, butterfly and edible gardens. So it's something to, keep an eye out. We'll send out any information. So we're in the process of planning a couple for the rest of the school year that will be more specific to some of the certain topics that we cover. So just like I said, keep an eye out. In addition to PDs, we do have the guidebooks or the online curriculums available to you. They are accessible from wherever you are. We'll go over, specifically where to find them, and we'll cover what's in them. We do offer also site visits. So if your green team, would like us to come out to the school or virtually as well, now we have that option to, kind of go over what we're going over here and assist with how to implement the program into your school. We're available to do that as well. And then we also offer grants like Barbara mentioned, but we'll go into more detail on how to access that and what to do with those funds. The curriculum that we provide, we do align it with the Florida State standards. So all of the lessons do include the benchmarks from CPALMs that you can access. So we've already done the work and we've put that into the lessons. The overall goal of the program obviously is to increase environmental literacy and to really help the students develop leadership, teamwork, critical thinking skills, and to, obviously reduce their environmental footprint and really to empower them to make, informed decisions moving forward about the environment and especially climate change. At the end of the school year, we do celebrate the successes because this is a challenge. So whatever you do complete for the Green Schools Challenge has a point associated to it. So whenever you submit something to me, we do collect those points and add them up. So at the end of the year, we do have prizes, trophies, banners for those top scoring schools. And then obviously we want to increase building efficiency. So Barbara had, pointed out that graphic that told you about, how many kilowatt hours and how much, energy we're saving and how much money we're saving on utility bills. So that we really want to increase the building efficiency, not only for the occupants, but overall for operating costs as well.
And so one thing that we have done the last couple of years is we've tried to make the program not only tie to local environmental issues, but connect them to, national and international aspects of sustainability. And so we have been taking the time to look through the lessons that we create or that we highlight and see how they support the global goals for sustainable development. These goals were created back in 2008 with the United Nations. And as you can see, the 17 goals kind of encompass a lot of different topics, but basically each year countries are supposed to provide information on how they are trying to meet these goals in their own country. Now, as we have been going out and doing different presentations and have gone out to conferences, is really interesting because these 17 UN sustainability goals are very much talked about in other states and other countries. In fact, a lot of other countries, they specifically work towards each and present, any program that is done has to kind of go through on how they support these goals. But in here in the US, and especially in Miami-Dade County, we have seen that not a lot of people are familiar with the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And so we just want to bring awareness. And a lot of the stuff that you see on here, it's not that you've never heard of before, but you might have not, tied it in with the global goals. So we think it's really important to kind of build that connection with the lessons in the Green Schools Challenge. So just wanted to say a little bit about why we do this.
So this is to give you an idea of the online curriculum that we have. So we do break it down into 3 specific websites or guidebooks that we have. So we have one for elementary, one for middle, and one for high school. So we do create grade specific lessons. So within the elementary school guidebook, you would find lessons for a lesson for pre-K through 1st, a lesson for 2nd through 3rd, and a lesson for 4th through 5th. And then for the middle and high school, you'll find just one lesson per level, which is 6th through 8th, and obviously 9th through 12. But there are going to be we have 6 topics that I'll cover in the next slide. But we have a lesson for each of those in those guidebooks. So within the guidebooks, you will find those lessons, PDF lessons, so you're able to print them or access them, like I said, from anywhere. You'll also have all the submission forms that you would need. We do everything online. Everything is done via Google Forms. So we want to make it as streamlined as possible. So all the links are going to be right in there. And we'll specifically go over the guidebook and where to find those in a little bit. But also you'll find, video tutorials, the training that you are doing right here, this recording will upload there, the training video that you just watched, and any additional resources we already put into that online guidebook. So it should be kind of like a one-stop shop place for you to access anything and everything that you would need for the Green Schools Challenge.
And just a little note to jump in there. We do, I believe, have a couple of people here from Palm Beach County, because we are very happy to say we've expanded into Palm Beach County this year. You won't have a different an elementary, middle, and high book. You'll just have one book, but the format will be the same. I think all but one lesson is the same for Palm Beach County, but instead of having 3 different guidebooks, there's only one, just because the program is going there. So I just wanted to mention that because I know we have some representatives here from Palm Beach.
Yeah, thank you. So this is kind of what the timeline looks like for the Green Schools Challenge. Like I said, this is a year-long program. So we do start, in August, September right now with professional development like we're doing now. We did one in person 2 or 3 weeks ago as well. And then after the PD, we ask that you go back and do kind of 3 pillars to set up the program. And we'll go into more detail, but those are there in blue. So we ask that you create a green team, complete an environmental self-assessment, and kind of set an environmental goal for the year. So then throughout the year, from October to March, those are the 6 sustainability topics I was referencing earlier that are tied with a lesson each within the guidebook. So we do cover, energy efficiency, water quality, waste reduction, green living, alternative transportation, and food security. So those topics remain the same every year, but the lessons, we do create new lessons every summer. So if you participated last year, there'll be some new lessons for you this year. Then in April, we tie into Earth Month. We ask that you host an eco summit. And then at the end of the year, usually at the end of May, we'll do that end of the year award ceremony that I mentioned earlier. So this is just kind of a breakdown. Like I mentioned before, everything does have, everything that you'll find in this timeline has a point system associated with it. So for example, this is kind of the beginning of the year activities that I mentioned. And so for example, for attending this training, or if anybody's going to watch the training video, you will automatically receive 10 points for doing so. So there's nothing you need to do. We've taken attendance. So just by being here today, your school has already been awarded those first 10 points. Then to create a green team and a green pledge is another 10 points. To complete the environmental self-assessment, which is a Google form, is another 10 points. And then, setting an environmental goal is 20 points. So everything, like I said, has a point associated to it. And we also have a rubric for everything. So there's full transparency and you'll know exactly, where we're getting these points from.
Sorry. So one of the first pillars, pillar number one, so the first one, is to create a green team. So what we kind of have suggest and what we've seen in the past with Works is that the green team should really be a combination of not only teachers and students, but also try to involve your parents. This is a great opportunity for the PTA to get involved, for your school administrator. I know a couple of green teams at schools also involve their custodians into this team. And a way to kind of make sure that everything is turned in on time and that everything has pictures and everything is to create roles. And so you can see a suggestion of the type of tasks that you can delegate to students and the people in the green team. And like I mentioned, it's a great opportunity to, get together with not just one classroom, but it really engage everyone. And so I know we have a couple of veteran teachers here, and so would love to hear from you all. Who's involved in your green team and any advice you can give to some of the newer teachers that are just starting out this year on how you all have built a successful green team, any tips that you might have. So please unmute yourself or feel free if you feel more comfortable putting those ideas into the chat. But if anybody has, we'd love to hear from you to just, simply unmute yourself and give us a little bit of advice and let us know how your green team works.
I'll jump in, Barbara. Eric Marshall, Miami Beach Nautilus. How you ladies doing? Happy Saturday morning. I don't know how many years I've been doing this. It's been a lot. It was Dr. Foote, but if you get the buy-in, like I'm the STEAM liaison, which is a lot of teachers, but this one is a lot more enjoyable than the STEAM liaison one, let me tell you, because this is all about the environment. So you can get the buy-in. It doesn't have to be a science, technological, engineering, or math. It could be the whole school. And we have the pledge. We have the recycling bins in each classroom and everything else. And we divvy up the monthly challenges because you can incorporate it right into the curriculum. You guys do a great job with that. So, the more teachers you have, the easier it is for everything. And truthfully, most people enjoy doing it because they're almost free lesson plans, that you can incorporate. And so when you look at those things, it's gotten smoother and smoother for me. And I have a set crew, and then the others want to jump in with the banner and the pledge and our teacher and everything else. So the more the merrier is what I would say, and it's easier. So I really appreciate it, ladies. I'll let somebody else speak to it, but thanks so much as always. All right.
Thank you so much for that. It's always great to hear. Anybody else have any thoughts on how to create a successful green team that they've done in their school? What's worked?
Good morning, ladies. I missed the Deering Estate. I was so upset I couldn't make it. My name is Genevieve Cabrera. I'm at Rockaway Middle. I adore Dream and Green's program, and to jump on what the previous teacher was speaking to, it's a great way to pitch it to the other teachers by telling them it's a STEAM lesson done for you. So if I have teachers that come to me or teachers that are struggling with finding a STEAM lesson for a designation, I push the Dream and Green lessons that are already done. Every point is there for them, and so I can get some participation that way. That's one thing. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is having custodial staff is really important, especially if you're doing something with recycling or waste, because you have to be on the same page. And what is important to mention is that every year is different. So you really need to talk to administration so that they can speak to the custodial staff to get on board with the participation. If you have someone that's dedicated, you're really lucky. And I have a couple of them that I know will help me out. But it is difficult sometimes to get everybody on board. So the best thing to do is to bring it to your boss and let the boss go ahead and speak to that, to their staff. If you don't have a lot of cohesiveness at a school, it depends on where you're at, but it's a great program. And I like Mr. I'm sorry, I forgot his name, Mr. Eric. He's absolutely right about getting any discipline. You can do this through any discipline. It's very interdisciplinary. Thank
Genevieve. Nice to see you, Genevieve. Great. So pillar number 2.
They're just some examples of green pledges that we've received in the past. You know, as we mentioned, they can be, Eric mentioned, you know, having a banner, which is very popular. Some do, you know, some kind of planting, or, you know, we've had teachers do like morning announcements, or, you know, some get really techie now with TikTok videos or Instagram reels or something that they can, or Padlet, you know, that they can share with the teachers and other parents and things like that. So it's really, there's no guideline. We want you to be as creative as possible. Obviously you can see that the banners are probably the most popular because it is something that you can put, you know, in the school, and everybody can sign it or contribute to it, and you can see it all year long. But definitely don't, you know, feel locked into that. So be creative as you'd like. And then these are just some examples. So the second pillar is that we have is to complete an environmental self-assessment. So this is a Google form, and it's basically asking you to look at kind of the environmental practices that your school already has in place. We do take this assessment from the Green Apple designation application, which is a designation from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection that they give out to schools if you are, you know, excelling in environmental and green practices. So, you know, these things include, you know, looking at your lighting systems, looking, you know, do you have school gardens? What is your transportation guidelines? Do you track your water or energy or waste, anything like that? Those are all in the environmental self-assessment, and they're kind of broken down into questions that are for the teachers, some of the students can answer, and then obviously for administrators and facilities, because we know that, you know, you don't know everything that's going on in the school, especially, you know, there's some questions asking about HVAC systems and asking about, you know, what kind of light bulbs that the school is using, and you may not know that. So those would be questions you would direct to the facility staff. Again, we are, you know, interested in getting and helping more schools get their Green Apple designation. So if this is something you're interested in, let us know, and we can definitely help you with that. After a school gets a Green Apple designation, kind of the next step up, the national level, is the Green Ribbon designation given out by the U.S. Department of Ed. And then if you are interested, this is the current list of Green Apple schools in Miami-Dade County. So we've definitely gotten a couple in the last few years. So we're excited that, you know, this is kind of gaining more momentum. And again, we're happy to help you with the application process. We do have a contact at Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and they can also help you walk you through the application process, or, you know, if you're missing anything. But basically, if you're going to complete the environmental self-assessment with us for the pillar 2, that's kind of like laying the groundwork, and you've already, you know, kind of done the steps of the application. So you can kind of use that environmental self-assessment to kind of gauge where you're at. You know, you may have, you know, a lot of things that you're doing really well at. And if the self-assessment says that, then go ahead and apply for the Green Apple designation. We'd love to see more schools on this list.
And just to jump in, 2 things. One thing is that this is something that Miami-Dade County and Broward County want to continue to push, and Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County also has a couple of designated Green Apple schools. And Miami-Dade County Public Schools has a sustainability director. And one of the initiatives that she has implemented is there is a platform now where you are able to track your energy usage for your school. Now, this is directly being monitored by your principal. So your principal should have access to this particular platform that they just launched this year. And if you're interested in getting access, we suggest that the first thing you do is ask your principal, check in, make sure that they are getting this, that they are getting access to this platform to be able to track your energy. And two, let us know if if your principal doesn't know how to access it, contact us and we will put you in contact with Carly Polito, which is the sustainability officer for Miami-Dade County Public Schools. For Palm Beach County, because this program is being supported by Palm Beach County Public Schools as well, their sustainability department, this part can also help with the requirements that Palm Beach County has set for sustainability schools. So we just wanted to mention that. And if we missed any schools, I know that Broward has a couple of schools in Florida Green Schools, Green Apple designation. We would be more than happy to, we try to highlight all the schools. So sorry we missed Broward County, but there definitely are some schools. Yes, and the portal is only Dade schools right now. It's Dade schools. This was created by Dade, Miami-Dade County Public Schools. So that was a question. Just wanted to share that.
Yeah, and someone asked for access to the sustainability platform, which we don't have. But as Barbara mentioned, we can definitely put you in contact with the sustainability director. She's definitely interested in, full transparency and getting that information down to the teachers. And she understands that there's definitely, a gap between information filtering down from the administration to the teachers. So she's happy to connect with you. So just let us know and we can share your information or share her email and you can reach out and she'll give you full access. And then the third pillar that we have is to set a yearly environmental goal. And so this is kind of to make a plan for the year, kind of an action plan for the year. So after you've created a green team and done a green pledge and done the environmental self-assessment, we hope that, that self-assessment can kind of, help you gauge where you're at as far as, what you need to work on for the year. So we ask that the goal kind of fall into one of these categories, whether it's energy, water, waste, the Green Apple designation, or a general kind of environmental improvement project, which can include, gardens, outdoor classrooms, that kind of thing. So we hope, that the environmental self-assessment, you can kind of see maybe you need to focus more on waste. Maybe you're doing awesome water and energy, but waste is kind of where you're lacking. So to set a goal for that specific category, we want it to be something that you can track and measure, because at the end of the year, we're going to ask you to assess that goal and see how it went. And then again, you'll get points for completing these. And then, obviously a goal may not be completed within a year, but we just want you to strive for something. So we'll ask you to set a goal for under one of these categories for the year.
So as Alex, go ahead. Sorry. So as Alexandra mentioned, because this is a competition format, everything that you turn into us, everything that you do, it has points allotted to it. And so for each of the lessons per theme that you have, that you participate in or you implement, you can earn up to 10 possible points. Now, the note to put here, especially in the elementary school, I know that there are various lessons under energy efficiency because, of course, they are grade appropriate. So we have lessons for pre-K through first grade, another set of lessons for second through third, another set of lessons for fourth through fifth. For the elementary school, you'll only get points for one of the lessons. So you can kind of choose which one you submit, but we obviously encourage for us teachers to implement all of the lessons. But just so you know, that's how our point system works, that you will only get credit for up to 10 points per theme, just to put that out there.
And then this is the scoring rubric that I mentioned before. So, full transparency, this is kind of where we get those 10 points. So, making sure that it's on time. I forgot to kind of highlight it, but there is going to be one general due date for everything. which is going to be next April, the last Friday of April 2024. So that's when I will need everything submitted to me. So, you know, as long as that gets turned in on time, that's already 1 point. If you use the submission form, that's another point. And then we want to know about, you know, implementation and evaluation. So this, again, they're all in the online guidebook. So if you ever need to reference it, you know, this is where we're getting those scores from.
And this is so all of our lessons are created through lesson plan format. So this is kind of the outline of all of the lessons that you will see. We'll have the objectives, the time, the approximate time needed, some background information if there's any vocabulary that we feel that might be appropriate for your students for this particular lesson, the procedure, some guiding questions. The evaluation part is what you would submit to us. And then with that, we don't need an entire class. We just need an example of what one of your students did or what the class did. And then you'll see the benchmarks, and some lessons also have an extension. So the one that Alexandra put up here to highlight is actually a middle school lesson for this year's competition, where you can see it's the true cost of fashion is the title, and then students are exploring the negative effects of fast fashion. And if there are any worksheets that we feel might support this learning, we have included them on there. Any videos or PowerPoint presentations are also included there as well.
Yeah, and like Barbara mentioned, some of them might have, you know, additional opportunities like community actions, or workshop opportunities. That's all voluntary. I mean, everything is voluntary, but the additional activities are just something, you know, if you want to take it a step further or take advantage of something that we're providing this year with specific partners. And then also I just want to, you know, point out that you're not necessarily locked into the lessons that we do provide. One thing that we incorporated a couple years ago is the option to create your own lesson as well. So if there's something that a lesson that you're doing that fits in under, you know, waste reduction and recycling, then you're more than welcome to submit that lesson for points. There's a special form just to let us know, you know, what the activity was, and again, what the implementation was. And we're always interested to hear about what you guys are doing. And we've even, you know, adapted some of those lessons in the past into the guidebooks into the future. And then also I want to point out that just because something is, you know, for a specific grade level doesn't mean you necessarily need to do that lesson at that grade level. This is usually, especially for like the elementary students, you know, if there's a lesson for, you know, the 4th and 5th, but you're a 2nd and 3rd grade teacher, you're welcome to, you know, kind of adapt the lesson to however it can fit into for the 2nd and 3rd graders. So maybe you take out a couple of the requirements, or you can, you know, vice versa, you can make it a little bit more difficult for high levels as well. So if you want to integrate another step, or if you want to, you know, add in that extra like community action or workshop opportunity that we put in there to kind of do that. So these lessons are meant to be kind of flexible. And if there's something that speaks to you, we'll go over all the lessons later. So if there's something that really speaks to you, but it's at a different grade level than what you're teaching, please feel free to adapt it into however it works into your classroom.
And so another thing that we wanted to highlight is that we know that you all are doing a million things. And so a couple of years back, we implemented these bonus activities. So if you are doing anything else with your students in your school, such as doing cleanups, I know that there was a big cleanup today, or if you're participating in the science fair or in a poster contest. I know Miami-Dade has the Every Drop Counts poster contest. But, you know, I know Broward and Palm Beach also have other opportunities for schools to participate, you know, like the Clean Air Calendar poster contest in Broward. If you all are participating in the Fairchild Challenge as well, I know that, or the Everglades Literacy Program. If you're already doing that, just let us know, because you can get bonus points for participating in that. Now, there's specific ones for middle and high. We've just shared here the elementary school. So there's different opportunities for middle and high, but just wanted to highlight these. The special important note is that you are not required to do any of these. These, as the name suggests, are bonus opportunities. And you can create your own. Just email Alexandra saying, hey, our school is doing this kind of planting. Think about like bonus points are like, you know, community service projects that your students are doing, or something that involves, that is outside the classroom, or meant to, you know, inform the community. And the maximum points you'd be able to earn for these bonus activities throughout the year is up to 50 points. And you would just put your, what you are doing. There is like a little, there's a form for these bonus activities, and you'll have the drop down. Yes, the How Low Challenge is included in here. I know Broward schools participate, and we're trying to get more Miami-Dade schools to participate in the How Low Challenge. So any of those count for this, and you can either pick the
Barbara.
one from the drop down. Yes, please.
I have a question, Eric Marshall again. Sorry. You know,
Yep.
I printed this bonus activity. I'm so sick of coming in 4th, 5th, and 6th place, and I do a lot of these. And so there's a drop down form menu, like for the SECME and all that. It's like SECME just went to the Olympiad when I clicked on it the other day, but there'll be a form that'll be uploaded that we just put our name in that we did these. Is that how that works? Because I'm enrolled in Fairchild Challenge and a couple others. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So the form for bonus activities should have, it'll be a drop down form that has these. Well, these are for elementary, but it'll be one specifically for middle school that you'll
Right.
see. And if there's something that you're participating in that is not in that drop down form, you could just put other and add the activity
Okay.
there as
Perfect.
well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And Eric, that's a great point. I know that there are some first, second, and third place winners in this group. And we can tell you that for, you know, Miami-Dade County and Broward County, it gets very competitive. And
See
what we've
Rockaway Middle over
seen-
there. I see
Yeah.
I'm coming for you, Rockaway.
It's usually the schools that do, you know, if not all, mostly all
Right.
of the lessons and bonus activities as well. So just those are some tips on how to get through that hump. We want to see you at the top too, Eric.
Thanks. All right.
Something that we'll just quickly mention, that we've kind of integrated, and these will be within the specific lessons, are some citizen science opportunities. So like I mentioned, we did do a PD last year specifically on citizen science. And so these are just some that we wanted to share with you guys, that you can, you know, either through the lessons integrate into the classroom or on your own. And so I'll just quickly mention some of these. I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with the iNaturalist app. Again, these are all applications that the students can use on their phones, or you can use on your phone as well. The Clean Swell app is through our partners at the Ocean Conservancy. So if you're ever doing a cleanup, this is a way to track what kind of trash you're picking up, and it gets uploaded into an international database with geotagging, so they can see exactly, you know, if you picked up 5 plastic trash bags and, you know, 20 straws, then this gets uploaded into that. IC Change is something to help document flooding in neighborhoods. So if, you know, students are out and about and they see, you know, sunny day flooding, this is something that they can share into the app. And then a lot of these actually go towards, you know, specific like scientist experiments, and also towards policy as well, within Miami-Dade County.
And again, just to reiterate, how to earn points, there's also end of the year activities that include completing a teacher survey, holding an eco summit, or participating, if you're a high school teacher, participating in one that we organize, and letting us know about how your school environmental goals. Again, it'll be a form that'll tell us, you know, were you able to achieve those environmental goals that you set at the beginning of the year or not? And there's no penalty if you didn't. Just let us know what were the challenges and what were some things that maybe you would like to work on for next year to be able to meet those goals. But again, as you could see, you know, there is one date and deadline for all of these. Of course, we hope that you don't wait until April to start submitting all of this stuff, so that Alexandra is able to like put all of these things. So as soon as you do an activity or a bonus or any of this, please feel free to send it, submit the form. It'll just be easier for you to be able to keep track, because you can always reach out to Alexandra and say, hey, you know, how many points do I have? It's January. How many points do I have? What have I submitted? Am I missing anything for like the beginning of the year? Instead of trying to submit everything in April. So just a little note and a little suggestion.
May I ask a question?
Yes, please.
About the, hi, I'm Delphine Selem from Carver Middle School, Coral Gables. How would you define the Eco Summit? And can you give some examples of, because we have done a lot of things the past year, but sometimes I don't know where I can put whatever is happening at school, how I can evaluate that, and show you what we did. For example, we did the Earth Day, the Day of Earth Day, with my colleague Dania Mustelier, that is today in the meeting. I brought her with me today. Because she's leading the Ocean for Kids Club at school, so we decided to do a little bit more things together, and we created a whole day at school for Earth Day, which was going from morning to during the day. I mean, we had tons of activities for all the school. Is that what you can call a summit? Yeah.
Yes. So actually,
Okay.
great question, Delphine. It's the next slide.
Okay, so we did.
Yeah, so the Eco Summit is really, we leave it up to the schools. Some examples are, you know, a STEAM night or planting. If you have tables outside, and the school does a pledge for Earth Day, you organize a student symposium, all of that stuff is considered an Eco Summit. What we say is that it should, happen at the end of the year, because should it be a culmination of things that you have done throughout. A garden can't be built in a day. So, if you are having, a ceremony for the garden and it's, March, April, that to us would be considered an Eco Summit. And really the objectives is for the students to foster civic responsibility, and to facilitate discussion. So, for our high school students, one of the things that we've been doing for the last couple of years, we try to organize a place where they come and they meet each other, and they share with the general public. You could see one of the pictures there from Miami Sunset, where they do like a poster board, or they can have some kind of presentation and they have it to general audience. So they're sharing not only to just their school, but they're also sharing with other schools, and they're sharing as well with the general public. So with the Eco Summit, it you can do a variety of different things. It's really, up to you what works best for you in your school.
All right, and for submission, I don't remember, is there a form? Do we need to send to Alexandra? A form?
Yeah, there'll be a form, exactly.
So I missed
and if
it
you
last
need
year. Voila, we did it. It was great, and wow. That was my first year last year, so I will do better this year.
No problem. Yes, there's a form, and there is also, and Alex, I think it's in the next slide, right, about grants, because I know we're running a little bit behind. Yep, here we go. So we mentioned the Green Leadership Grant Program, but you could also submit a grant to support your Eco Summit. So if you're doing a planting, that's what you want to do for Eco Summit, and you need some extra funds, that could be something that you put in for Green Leadership Grants. For those high schools that are coming to an event that we are organizing, and you need, for example, transportation costs, that can also be part of the challenge grants. If you're participating in another competition, the science fair, SECME competition, and you need materials for your students to participate in that, we are also providing up to $150 grant to support those, either registration or travel fees or materials. Here are some examples of what we've seen is most common with the challenge grants. updating a butterfly garden, getting bike racks, recycling bins for the classrooms. You know, we really leave it up to you all, but it really is for an initiative that has to do for you know, one of the categories. And yes, a question was, can you apply for both categories? Yes, you can definitely. You know, we limit the challenge grants to up to 1 grant awarded per school per year, but you could also apply for the competition grant. I know there's a couple of high school teachers here that participate with us in one of our design and build competitions. And so we provide funding for them to create models, these 3D models. And so sometimes you need materials. And so that also is included in the competition grant, and they also can apply for challenge grants as well too. So yes, you can apply for both. And then
I think
yeah, go ahead, Alex.
For a second, I'll just point out real quick that the end of the year award ceremony that we'll be doing, you know, in May, we keep talking about points and, you know, getting recognition. So top performing schools, you know, we do have an event. Luckily, we're back in person the last 2 years. So we'll have, you know, banners, trophies, prizes for those schools and, you know, individuals as well, students, teachers, administrators, facility staff that have really, you know, helped throughout the year to propel this program. So more on that later.
And so we wanted to highlight a couple of partners that we have with us today, because we can't do this all ourselves. And we're just so thankful that we continue to build relationships, not only in Miami-Dade County, but Broward County and Palm Beach County. And even there's a couple of national organizations here as well. And so one of the ways in which we work with our partners is not only we promote their programs that help teachers with sustainability initiatives, we also create lessons together. So some of the lessons that you'll see will have different logos where we've partnered with that organization to be able to create that lesson. We've also, you know, highlighted different initiatives that these organizations, especially if they're local, have that can support either field trips or additional lessons. And so we do have a couple of partners that I wanted to highlight. First one, I want to ask her if she can come off of mute, is Kristen from Youth Environmental Alliance.
Hi, everybody. How you doing? Thumbs up. Good, hopefully. So my name is Kristen Haas. I'm Executive Director of Youth Environmental Alliance, and we've been around since 2005, providing hands-on education opportunities for schools, mainly in the Tri-County area, but we've expanded to Hillsborough County and are moving around the planet as well. So basically, the opportunities that we can provide is we have a plethora of environmental education programs that tie students to the resource and engage them in some sort of eco action, either at the school or at home, or an eco action that we can facilitate. And all of our programs, we tailor them to the standards that you have for your grade. So what she's showing now is our brochure that highlights a lot of our programs, and a lot of them don't have grade levels, or even if they do have grade levels, we can still tailor them to whatever it is that you are kind of looking to do. So we can tie them closely into the initiatives that Dreaming Green are wanting you guys to accomplish through partnering with them. So what was I going to say? Will you scroll down to just kind of show them some of the programs that we have? So you can see we have a lot of different programs. Some we offer virtually if that works better, but most of them will come to you and deliver a hands-on program. We bring all the equipment, all the supplies, etc. And then we also have field trips that go off campus. Now, you do see there is a cost associated with this. We do offer a BOGO deal. So if you're able to purchase one of the programs, then we can give you a free program. The free program is dependent on kind of where you are. So if you're in Miami-Dade, if you're in the Tri-County area, we can always give a fishing program for free, which we can tie to your standards. And the kids learn the basic skills of fishing, and then we go fishing. But then if you're in Broward County or Palm Beach County, no, Broward County, then we also have a BOGO deal where we have 4 other programs that you can be involved in that tie directly to this curriculum. And they are energizing ecology, the Sea and Me Prevent a CO2 Calamity, Paper Plastic or Our Planet, and Creating Environmental Stewards. And they focus on water conservation, they focus on climate change, and how climate change is kind of tied into the food webs and ecology. They also focus on marine organisms and how we're impacting them through CO2 emissions, and of course plastics and the perils of plastics, etc., and then how that uses a lot of our energy resources and how that affects our food webs and whatnot. So these programs are available to you. We can partner pretty much in any way you want. We also, besides the ones that I mentioned, we do gardening programs. We have soils programs, we have plant programs. We kind of go off in many different directions that can help. And we can talk ahead of time. And 2 things we can do is help you figure out which programs fit best into the Dreaming Green curriculum. And then we can also, if like you send us your curriculum maps, or I think they're called scope maps these days, they changed the name of them. But if you tell us like kind of what your plan is for teaching during the year, we can plug our programs in there so you know exactly when is a good time to schedule us to come out.
Great. Kristen, would you be able to put your email information and your website
Yes.
as well in the chat so everybody
Yes,
can
and
have access?
can we show them our little video? Do we have 3 minutes?
We've been having such difficulty
Okay.
with the videos. You know,
Well,
if
if
wanna
you
put
can let
the-
me share, I can share, but it's
Sure.
totally up to you because they can see it on our website as well. So oops, I put my name in there. I keep hitting enter to give myself space, and then it just throws everything up there. So I'll give you my cell number. And it's Youth Environmental Alliance.com. YouthEnvironmentalAlliance.com. So one of the things that we also offer is we do opportunities like, let's say that you wanted to take our pollinator gardening class or energizing ecology class or something like that. We can also help you build gardens on your property, like rain gardens to help with water filtration, pollinator gardens that also help with water and air filtration, but also bring in pollinators. We can do tree plantings. We're able to do all kinds of restoration type of activities on your campus. And then if you're interested, we also have some field trips that can go out to like the dunes or to freshwater areas and do restorations there as well.
Yeah, Kristen, we can definitely share the video as well too, because through the email that we'll send to everybody.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Because I think that'll be great for everybody to see it. And Kristen, we really appreciate it. You know, this is a brand new partnership. Super excited because I've heard of Yay for a couple of years, so I'm super happy to be able to connect. We also have a video that we'll share the link to again because we're trying to work out these technical difficulties. We will be sharing some other partners that actually came in person to the Deering Estate workshop that we had, so that you can see other opportunities for your school to participate in different activities outside the classroom. And we'd like to present our next partner.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Kristen.
You
So
betcha.
our next partners are from Live Arts Miami, and this is a partnership that now we're starting our, I believe, our 5th year. Super excited to have them again participating with us, because every time that we get together, the ideas start flowing, and it's a combination of adding arts into STEM. And so I'd like to introduce 2 people that are on the chat that will tell you all a little bit about this initiative. So Catherine Garcia has been an amazing partner, and we're introducing Inez Barletier. And she is the new engagement coordinator. And so let me hand it over to them so they can talk a little bit about what we have planned for you all.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Barbara, and Alex. And I just have to take a moment to say I get so excited when I get on these calls, because I get super motivated and inspired by the fact that all of you are taking this on. It's not a small thing. And I just want to take a moment to applaud everyone for it, because it's so important, and you guys are leaders in your schools, and not all teachers do this. So I just want to thank you guys for the work that you are doing in your schools and with your students. We're Live Arts Miami. I think Inez is here somewhere. I don't see her yet, but Inez, if you're here, just unmute, and I think maybe you'll come up. I don't know.
I'm here.
Are you here? Okay, great. Hey, Inez. So we're the team behind the Ecocultura offerings as part of the Green Schools Challenge. We started Ecocultura back in 2019 because we're also very passionate and inspired about what we can do, even not as scientists or policymakers, but as people who work in art and something that is essentially human. What can we do about this issue that, you know, I think we can all agree everyone needs to be involved in? We can't just leave it to other people to figure out. We all have to have a role. So we created Ecocultura in 2019. We have a short video, but I don't know if that's playable. I could try it at the end, but basically it just sums up what we've been doing with Ecocultura. We are part of Miami-Dade College. So we started this on Miami-Dade College campuses, and shortly thereafter met the wonderful folks at Dream and Green, and this partnership was born. So what we do is we bring artists into your classroom for free. So we've been really fortunate to be able to get some good funding behind this that makes it just 100% accessible. There's absolutely no cost to you and your schools to do this. So really there's no reason not to. We like to speak to students who, you know, may be gravitating towards something else. They may be in your science class, but really love poetry or music, or have some other way that they're going to find a doorway into environmental action. Oh, hey, Jesse. Yes. Hey, Jessica, how are you? It was great working. We've worked with so many great schools. And we have 3 core programs this year that are available. I'm going to talk about them briefly. Recycled Orchestra is first. I know a lot of people have done the Recycled Orchestra workshop, and we love it. Basically, there is an instrument making lesson, right, that you guys can do in your own classrooms. There's an activity sheet that's linked into the lessons in the waste pillar that talks about making instruments out of trash. And this is really something that's flexible for any grade level, because, you know, a kindergartner can do it, or a senior in high school can do it. It's just going to be a different level instrument, right? There's a piece about the science of making sound, so you can really attach it back to the STEM efforts. What is it that, you know, makes sound depending on how you create your instrument? What is the resonator? What is, you know, how loud are you hitting it? What are the vibrations that are created depending on the form? And once you make these instruments, you can request a workshop from us. Just to say that the instruments, there is a guide with all sorts of links. It's not left to you alone to figure it out. There's all sorts of resources on how to do it. And then you can request a musician to come into your classroom. And what that musician does basically is looks at all the instruments all your students have made and asks them and shows them how to play it together as a group, right? So this is really important for community building within your classroom, for a bit of inspiration, and just alternative thinking about how to make an impact and how to reuse trash and make it into something beautiful. There's also a film attached to it that we have, Landfill Orchestra, that you can watch as a class. We have a link that's free to view the whole film about kids in Paraguay who lived next to a landfill and made instruments out of trash, created an orchestra, and actually toured the world. So you can give your students some inspiration about it as well. Earthverse is another module that we have, which is all about poetry. And there's been some great, powerful stuff that's come out of this. We bring poets into your classroom. So if there's any English teachers here or language arts, this is a great activity to have a poet come in and talk about, accessible ways about how to write poetry, how to make it accessible for anyone really to share their voice, and using nature and environmental issues as a prompt. So students can really write their own, use their own voice, speak their own mind on what they think about what's going on. And hopefully perform them for the class. Poetry is something that requires confidence. You can stand up in front of the class, really read this self-expression in a strong voice for your peers. And the last we have is water dance. This happens every 2 years because it's attached to something called National Water Dance. And National Water Dance is a biannual program that happens in Miami and across the country. We're lucky that the founder is based here in Miami. Her name is Dale Andre. And she's really looking to connect students with this idea that we're not separate from nature, right? It's really critical to moving the needle on things that we reorient ourselves in terms of our own relationship to nature. And that's a lot of what National Water Dance is about. It's about understanding that we are water, that water is essential to life, and creating a movement choir that doesn't require, it's not, your dance clubs can do it and all of that, but anyone can do it. You don't have to have a special ability to participate in water dance. It's really just going through movements inspired by water and putting them together in a short movement phrase that the class can do together. So we also have, I don't know, Alex, if you can move to the next slide, but we have all sorts of resources outside of the in-person workshops that we can bring into your school that are films, video tutorials, all this stuff, mostly when we weren't able to come into your classrooms. It's still there. It's still great. We've got tutorials on, tutorials on how to make a zine, right? If you're learning about a particular topic and you want to give your students a quick activity, a zine is a really creative way for them to think about alternative transportation or energy usage and do it in a way that they can share with people outside of their class. How to write a poem, how to use shadow puppetry, which seems obscure, but let me tell you, it's actually a really accessible way to tell a story with just a cardboard box and a light. So there's a great video on shadow puppetry in there. And there's some films, like I mentioned, Landfill Harmonic, and there's a book attached to water dance as well, how to make a water dance, mostly for elementary. So there's all these great resources. We really hope you take advantage of it. Ines here is our contact, so she'll be the person who's in touch with you. Ines is an artist, a teaching artist, a musician, as well outside of her work with Live Arts Miami. And Ines, I don't know if you want to say anything just in terms of why art, why this matters in your classroom.
Thank you, Catherine. Yes, the reason I am here is because I want to talk about the change-making aspect of this and how it relates to interdisciplinary connections. And me being an artist, I use my art to inform, to educate. And in doing so, I'm able to instill a new sense of pride in children and students, and also giving them a voice for them to empower themselves. And like Catherine said, that poetry and water dance, they may not be a professional dancer in the future or professional poet, but these skills they learn from doing this affects them in many ways that they can use throughout many parts of their life. And connecting it to the Green Schools Project, the Green Schools Challenge, is that it's able to let them explore this important issue, but also themselves. And that's the part that art plays. It empowers without even knowing they're being empowered. They have no idea that writing a poem, performing it, will be a skill they will use for their entire life. But the reason why we're here is because we think it's important to have a connection between art and the Green Schools Challenge, because art is something that we use every day. I mean, your classrooms are decorated in it. The way you teach is an art form. The way that students are interacting in the world, they have art, they have music, and they are heavily influenced by all these things. So it's important for them to have a way to merge the two. And it's fun, for you all too, especially with everything we have involved, the recycled orchestra, the Earth First, the water dance, making a zine is one thing that they can do to create their own voice, their own vision. And it helps you all to instill these important issues with the students. Catherine, there's a question from Monica, and she asked if these programs are only for Dade County schools.
We haven't been in Broward. I don't think we've gotten any requests from Broward in the past, but this is funded by the state of Florida. So yeah, this can be for Broward as well. Certainly. Thank you for that question. And I just want to say one last thing. I know we get passionate about it. We can go on and on. We love this work. But all of these are also great ideas for your eco summits. If you've got some students who've participated in Earthburst, get them together, do a poetry slam, do an environmental poetry slam at your school. Have when you're inaugurating your garden, bring your dancers out, have them perform the movement phrase. I mean, this is just part of bringing up the school spirit around these issues and making sure that kids really have a place to create community, build motivation to take action on these issues and find their inspiration. So thank you guys so much. And we'll put our contact info in the chat. This flyer will be available to you guys. We'll be sending it around shortly. And the sign-up sheets are right there. You can click and sign up directly, and then Inez will be in touch to schedule a time. And very last but not least, we've done some great field trips over the past few years, and we look forward to having more field trips this year. We partner with Cultural Passport through Miami-Dade County Public Schools for that, with free busing to go to different theaters and locations around town and experience art that really does come together at the intersection of expression and environmental action. And those will be coming forth shortly as soon as we settle everything. Mostly they're communicated through Cultural Passport. So if you've done Cultural Passport before, keep an eye out for the Live Arts Miami field trips, because those are also part of all of this.
And as being part of the Green Schools Challenge, we'll also be able to give you a heads up when those are coming. So yeah, look for an email from us of these performances that are specific with our partnership, so that you can sign up as quickly as they are available.
Can I say one last thing? Because we have another question in the chat, but also we want to make sure you walk away with this knowing that the art of change making can be the arts while focusing on the environment. And the power of change making and the power of art is that we have these topics, and when these students are involved in the arts, they're internally soaking them in and then using their voice. So you're reaching so many things by having them be involved. First, they learn about this topic, why it's important to them, then they're using their voice, and becomes an internal experience that will live with them beyond your classroom. So it's very important. I hope you understand that the art is super important, as well as everyone here, that our STEM and all of us are important, but the connection is a very powerful tool, and you'll be surprised how much they can soak in when you're involved in an orchestra, a poetry, a scene, and dance. And you can actually see how they grow in this. We have one more question. Someone said, is it also in Broward? Actually, Palm Beach too.
Palm Beach, yeah. I mean, I don't know that there's limits since it's funded from the state. I know one of our teaching artists was in the Keys, based in the Keys, so and would drive up to Dade. So yeah, I mean, if you are interested, certainly reach out. It's going to be a matter of coordinating and make sure we have an artist who can go up and reach you.
Thank you so much, Catherine and Inez. And Inez, it's great to have you on board, and I look forward to working with you this year. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Inez. Thank you. So we're gonna give you guys a little bit of a break. about 10 minutes. While we're on that break, Alex and I will put the partner video as well. We're gonna try. But again, if you need to take a bio break, if you need to get some more coffee or water, we're gonna come back at 10:47, so just 10 minutes. And then we will have some breakout sessions that we will do, and we're gonna try with the videos if you want to stick around. But yep, be back at 10:47, please.
Hi, I'm Laura Gustafson Hollinger with Solar United Neighbors, and we help people across the country go solar and protect our energy rights. Here in South Florida, our program associate goes into classrooms in the Miami-Dade area to teach students all about solar energy and how to make an energy efficient future for all.
Hi, my name is Gabriella from Vizcaya Museum of Gardens. I'm the school programs manager. At Vizcaya, we always welcome teachers and students through guided school visits, teacher workshops, educator appreciation events, and a lot more. So we look forward to welcoming you all.
Hi, my name is Bianca Casuto, and I'm the Education Program Manager at the Everglades Foundation. We offer the free Everglades Literacy Program to teachers and provide standards-aligned lesson plans and materials and professional development for teachers to teach about the Everglades in the classroom.
Hi, my name is Claudia. I'm the Community Manager for IC Change, a community data engagement platform. We're working with Miami-Dade in engaging residents to report how heat is making you feel, how heat is impacting your health, and most importantly, how heat is impacting your commute while you're using public transit. We're also gathering reports on flooding. So if you see flooding anywhere near you or outside your property, please post it on IC Change, icchange.com. You can also download the app as IC Change Tracker on your iPhone.
Hi, my name is Joy Klein. I work with Miami-Dade County's Environmentally Endangered Lands Program. We're the county program that actually manages, acquires, restores these natural habitats for long-term sustainability for our area and for these really rare and endangered habitats.
Hello everyone, my name is Willie. I am with Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces within the Eco Division, and we're all about connecting people to nature and protecting the environment.
Hi, I'm Barbara McAdam.
I'm Dalton Goolsby. We're with the UF-IFAS Extension Miami-Dade County Urban Horticulture Program. We offer free programs and workshops for your kids or for you, where you can come and get education on all kinds of things, ranging from local pollinators with Barbara, local plants, watering efficiency, Florida-friendly landscaping, all kinds of awesome environmental sustainability-based subjects that are all reviewed by the University of Florida and its many research affiliates.
Right, and we have free rain barrels for schools, and teachers can attend a composting workshop and pick up a composter.
Definitely.
And we brought plants to share grown from our greenhouse to attract the pollinators.
Definitely. You can contact us by email, bmcadam@ufl.edu or Dalton Goolsby at ufl.edu, and you can contact us to schedule a free workshop whenever you like, or to hear more about our programs.
Thank you.
Thank you so
we
much.
look forward to working with Dream and Green again this year.
Definitely.
Hi, I'm Laura Gustafson Hollinger with Solar United Neighbors, and we help people across the country go solar and protect our energy rights. Here in South Florida, our program associate goes into classrooms in the Miami-Dade area to teach students all about solar energy and how to make an energy efficient future for all.
Hi, my name is Gabriella from Vizcaya Museum of Gardens. I'm the school programs manager. At Vizcaya, we always welcome teachers and students through guided school visits, teacher workshops, educator appreciation events,
and a lot more. So we look forward to welcoming you all.
Hi, my name is Bianca Casuto, and I'm the Education Program Manager at the Everglades Foundation. We offer the free Everglades Literacy Program to teachers and provide standards-aligned lesson plans and materials and professional development for teachers to teach about the Everglades in the classroom.
Hi, my name is Claudia. I'm the Community Manager for IC Change, a community data engagement platform. We're working with Miami-Dade in engaging residents to report how heat is making you feel, how heat is impacting your health, and most importantly, how heat is impacting your commute while you're using public transit. We're also gathering reports on flooding. So if you see flooding anywhere near you or outside your property, please post it on IC Change, ichange.com. You can also download the app as IC Change Tracker on your iPhone.
Hi, my name is Joy Klein. I work with Miami-Dade County's Environmentally Endangered Lands Program. We're the county program that actually manages, acquires, restores these natural habitats for long-term sustainability for our area and for these really rare and endangered habitats.
Hello everyone, my name is Willie. I am with Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces within the Eco Division, and we're all about connecting people to nature and protecting the environment.
Hi, I'm Barbara McAdam.
I'm Dalton Goolsby. We're with the UF IFAS Extension Miami-Dade County Urban Horticulture Program. We offer free programs and workshops for your kids or for you, where you can come and get education on all kinds of things, ranging from local pollinators with Barbara, local plants, watering efficiency, Florida-friendly landscaping, all kinds of awesome environmental sustainability-based subjects that are all reviewed by the University of Florida and its many research affiliates.
Right, and we have free rain barrels for schools, and teachers can attend a composting workshop and pick up a composter.
Definitely.
And we brought plants to share grown from our greenhouse to attract the pollinators.
Definitely. You can contact us by email, bmcadam@ufl.edu or Dalton Goolsby at ufl.edu, and you can contact us to schedule a free workshop whenever you like, or to hear more about our programs.
Thank you.
Thank you so
we
much.
Look forward to working with Dream and Green again this year.
Definitely.
We have a couple more minutes, so I'm going to share another video by one of our partners as everybody comes back.
The ocean is an incredible place. Let's keep it that way. Join us as we hunt for sustainable seafood. Our seafood choices matter for the future of ocean health. Hey, I'm Sarah Curry with Soraya Films. Shrimp is the most consumed seafood in the world, but most of us likely don't know what fresh shrimp even tastes like. 90% of what we're eating here in the US is imported. In this episode, we're visiting a farm located in South Florida, working hard to make shrimp for US consumers.
People have this concept that, oh, shrimp are fresh. They're seeing them in the case at their local grocery store. There's no such thing as a fresh shrimp anymore. All the shrimp are frozen, especially stuff coming from overseas. It comes in containers that's frozen and many months old. We consume 1.6 billion, we import roughly 90% of that. It's really unfortunate, but pretty much every shrimp you see on the shelf today in America has been treated. I would say 99% has been treated with something. The use of chemical preservatives and all kinds of lotions and potions to make the shrimp gain weight and to make them look better than what they are That is very much in use all over the world. And we say, look, it's not necessary. There's a market for that shrimp. People are eating it, people like it, but we want to do something better. We want to create a better thing. We can sell a product that hasn't been treated, and that is quite unique.
The farm is located on the west coast of Florida, past a historic fishing town on 70 acres of land. It's where Robin Pearl has been working since 2013 to raise the perfect shrimp. It takes a skilled team of people, from technicians to water quality experts to geneticists, to even stand a chance in producing a sustainable, high-quality shrimp here in the US. The team at Sunshrimp is creating a shrimp free from preservatives, free from antibiotics, with almost no environmental impacts.
And we're going to pause the video there because it is a long video and it is time for us to be back. But I wanted to mention Soraya Films. They are another one of our newer partners. And last year we featured some of their amazing videos. So Sarah Curry is the founder of Soraya Films, and she basically does these short, like a docu-series on sustainable fishing, and focuses here in a lot of issues in South Florida. And so we are partnering with her for an upcoming event that she unfortunately is at the she's cleaning up the International Coastal Cleanup right now and was not able to join us, but I wanted to promote the event that we are hosting, and this will take place on a Saturday. This is Saturday, October 8th. Which is called Fish School, and it's an ocean-themed film festival for students, and it will be held at the Coral Gables Art Cinema from 12:30 to 3 p.m. And I mentioned, we will be promoting it. Our partners at Ocean Conservancy will be promoting it. And Soraya Films has a couple of these videos. So if your students, this is more geared towards middle and high school students, but, again, if you're interested in participating, we can definitely send out more information on this event that is happening. But this is going to take place October 8th, and Sarah, who leads it, unfortunately wasn't able to make it because she's knee deep in in garbage in cleaning up our oceans for International Coastal Cleanup today. And I'm going to hand it over back to Alexandra.
Awesome. So we're going to now take a few minutes. We keep talking about this online guidebook and this website. So we're going to kind of cover where you can access everything and how, we can do submissions and things like that. So if everybody can see my screen. So I'm going to drop in the chat the link, and if you want to follow along, you're more than welcome to do so. But basically, this is where you would access the curriculum. So you should have received an email if you already enrolled your school in the Green Schools Challenge. You should have received a link to the guidebooks. But as you can see here on the screen, there are 3 the elementary, middle, and high school guidebooks. And then if you ever, for some reason don't find my email or anything like that, you can just access it dreamandgreen.org. And if you go up to our programs, you can see the Green Schools Challenge, and then under so there you can see the 3 guidebooks, and if you need to reference them at any time. So let's go ahead and take a look at the, this is specifically the elementary guidebook, but the overall, framework of the websites is all the same. The things that might be different within each of them are going to be the actual lesson plans. And then, for example, some of the bonus activities are going to be different and the submission forms would be different, but otherwise they're all laid out the exact same way. So I'm just going to use the elementary as a reference, but if you can use this for middle and high school as well. So like I said, I dropped it in the chat, so you're more than welcome to explore kind of along as we go through this. But you know, this is just to give you an idea of, you know, how to navigate this, and we do have some tutorial videos as well if you kind of get lost or don't know how to find anything. And obviously, you know, always email me if you can't find the submission form for, you know, example, the water lesson or something like that. I'm happy to help you through, walk you through that. So this is just going to be the homepage and kind of break down the program. And here we have this graphic of the, you know, the overall timeline of the Green Schools Challenge. If you ever need to reference what lessons we have this year, you can click here, and we're going to go specifically over this document next, but this is, you know, a breakdown of what the lessons are for the school year, and you can reference that on the home page. So over on the left is going to be your
Alex, I'm so
Yes.
sorry, Alex. I want to give a chance to Sarah. She's actually was able to join us for a second. So Sarah, if you could take yourself off mute and just introduce yourself. And we just promoted the October 8th, but if you wanted to also share about the website and what kind of films you put on your website, please do so.
Definitely. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hi. Sorry for missing out earlier. We're cleaning up out here for International Coastal Cleanup Day, but I'm Sarah with Soraya Films. And yeah, we do seafood education mainly through our films. So we have about 10 15-minute long documentaries that highlight seafood producers or scientists in South Florida. And we have our latest one featuring a 30-year-old aquatic biologist who's growing oysters on the east coast of Florida, to our lobster industry down in the Keys, where we talk about lack of affordable housing and more social issues. So we love sharing these films with teachers and in schools. And all of these are free and available to use, and some of them even have some quizzes associated with them. But the event that we're super excited about is called Fish School on October 8th. It's free for students, teachers, parents, free popcorn, and we'll be screening a few of Soraya's films as well as a film from the Ocean Conservancy called Everglades to Ocean. So it's going to be an awesome time, and we'd love to have you and your students there. And we also do in-school presentations about seafood and the different ways students can be involved. So that's our little pitch. Thanks for letting me join in. Any questions?
Thank you so much, Sarah. And I'm gonna put your website on the as well so that they have it. Any
Awesome.
questions, everybody?
Barbara, I have a question.
Yep.
Where is the October 8th screening?
It is at Coral Gables Art Cinema.
Okay, at what time?
It is at 12:30, I believe. I believe it's 12:30 to 3. I don't have it right in front of me, but
Is it a Saturday or a Sunday?
It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday.
Okay, perfect. Because I teach marine science and I'd love for my students to go.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Okay,
We're hoping to
thank
have
you.
some Q&A at the end as well for students.
Perfect.
Yeah, and Jesus, if you need any transportation, this could be something that we can work out through the grants program as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you for joining us. And hopefully there's not too much garbage to pick up, but
We're bringing it in, so we'll report back.
Great. Thank you,
All
Sarah.
right.
And I'll share her website on here. All right.
Thank you guys
Bye,
so
Sarah.
much.
Bye.
Bye.
Great, we'll go back to the website overview, but we're glad that she was able to join. And just, you know, as an example, there's so many organization and partners maybe not just that we're partnering with, that want to, you know, provide these opportunities to schools, whether it's, you know, films like, or screenings like that, or like Sarah mentioned, you know, coming into your classroom. So there's so many organizations that want to be in the classroom. So if you're ever looking for, you know, these kinds of opportunities, you know, just let us know, and we'd love to connect you with who we know, because, you know, there are people that want to be in the classroom and want to connect with your students. So we're happy to facilitate that and do that. So back to the website. So like I said, the left side is going to be the menu of everything that you're going to need. So, you know, for example, how we break down the points, how you earn those points. We also have, you know, our program policies, submission deadlines. And I did want to touch on this because I forgot to put it into the presentation, but specifically for Miami-Dade County Public Schools. I know Genevieve, that's what reminded me, she'd mentioned STEAM designation or STEM designation. So we are an official partner with the school district. So by participating in the Green Schools Challenge, you do get points towards your STEAM or STEM designation. So if you ever need to reference, it's here. This is kind of the minimum that you do need to complete throughout the year. So you need to complete those beginning of the year activities. So the training video, or attending this training, which you're already doing, creating a green pledge, the self-assessment, and the goals. And then you need to complete 3 of those 6 monthly topics. So energy, wastewater, transportation, whichever 3 of the 6 that you want. And then that's what you would need to get STEM or STEAM designation. So you don't need to do anything except complete those activities. At the end of the year, I connect with the STEM department and share the list of schools that have completed that. So just wanted to touch on that for those schools that are interested. Then I know we have a lot of schools that do go after that STEM or STEAM designation. If you ever need to reference our social media, we love it when you share and tag us online. So those are some of our social media platforms, as well as some hashtags you can use. If there are any you know, special opportunities or partners that we're working with, you can reference them here. So like I said, you know, we have, you know, Solar United Neighbors, they do come into the classroom and do presentations. We're also working with Miami-Dade County with the Environmental Resources Management team. They're interested in coming into classrooms and doing presentations about water management. And then the live arts. So these are just some places you can, you know, access those if you want to bring, you know, experts in the field into the classrooms. And again, those citizen science opportunities that we brought up real quick. Next, here's the beginning of the year activities. So a lot of the graphics that you see here is what we also included already in the presentation. So they should be pretty familiar. But within these pages, you're going to find the specific links that you need to complete. So for example, you know, complete the environmental self-assessment. You'll click on here and it's a Google form. You can see this, Barbara. Okay. Sometimes it doesn't switch over when you click on links. So this is the environmental self-assessment. You know, here it's a Google form that you'll complete. And like I mentioned, when we talked about it, there are different sections for different people in the school. So, you know, exactly, you know, are your vehicles ground smoke free, 100% smoke free? They should be. Here are some questions about for facilities, you know, whether they're, you know, if there's composting, like I mentioned, HVACs, maybe, you know, the water conservation usage as far as, you know, faucets, shower heads, toilets in the schools. And then also for the yearly environmental goal, again, that's also a Google form. We find this is the easiest thing to do. And you'll just submit, you know, all the answers here, and I'll automatically get those, and I'll use the rubrics, which are also linked on this page. So, you know, there's full transparency. You'll know exactly where we get those scores.
I have a quick question about the environmental goals. So you have a list of specific topics to choose from, and then it says 2 initiatives from that topic. And I was looking for the reading about where the topics are and their initiatives, and I couldn't find it on the website.
So I think, Genevieve, you might have an older version of this link, because right now you only have to choose one.
Yeah, this is one.
And then basically it's super easy. Just let us know what initiatives. So we kind of try to streamline that because of what you're saying. The descriptions of them were a little bit difficult. And that was a feedback we received. So this time we're only asking you to focus on one. And here are the ones that you can use, such as going for Green Apple designation if you're going to focus. So these are, and waste reduction and recycling can be, you want to start a recycling program, or you want to start a composting program, or you want to get rid of plastic water bottles. So we leave it kind of up to you to interpret what those can be. But if you have questions about like what, an energy efficiency goal could be, just let us know and we can give you some ideas.
I do, but I don't want to take up your time, so I'll wait till the end. That's what was my question, because I wanted to read on it first. Thank you.
So we'll go into the specific, the 6 sustainability topics that we have: energy, water, waste. You can see them all here, and they're kind of set up in the exact same way. We kind of outline, what the problem is, why should we care, what can we do? And then if you scroll down to the bottom, here's where you're going to find the actual lesson plans themselves. So again, reminder, we are in the elementary guidebook, so they're going to be 3 lessons here. And when you do the middle and high school guidebooks, there'll just be 1 lesson per topic. But essentially, you can just click on the link here and it will pull up the PDF. And then this is, like Barbara had mentioned, it's all in lesson plan format. If there's ever a worksheet or a guide that you would need to complete the lesson plan, or a video, they are directly linked within these PDFs. So anything you should need is within this document. And then once you do complete the lesson, everything has a submission form, and they're always going to be at the bottom of the page. And again, surprise, surprise, it is a Google form. And then this is just to let us know, who completed the activity, how many students, how many, parents, community members, and what the impact of that activity was. So again, there is a rubric for each of the activities. So if you need to reference how we get those points. And then also we had mentioned before the create your own option as well. And this is for all the grade levels. That you can submit your lesson plan here for what you do. And Barbara had mentioned the UN sustainability goals. Those are on the bottom here, which ones tie into the lessons that we've done for this year. So again, so this is for water. It's exactly the same, broken down the same way. All the lessons will be here, and the submission forms. So going to the bonus activities specifically, again, you've seen this graphic before. This is what was in the presentation. And again, here it's again a Google form. You click on this submission form and you will use this drop down menu. And these are the ones that are within that, that graphic. But again, it is not a end all list. So if there is something that you do that's not on this list, you're more than welcome to select other. And then you'll let me know here exactly what that was if it's not on this list. So we welcome, any initiatives that you might be doing that we may not have thought of or that we're not familiar with this year. And then this is just the end of the year activities. Again, everything has a link to it. The environmental goal self-assessment that Barbara had gone over would be a Google form right here. And then we talked about also eco summits. There is a submission form at the bottom of the page here to let us know exactly what you did for the Eco Summit. And we include a couple examples. Again, it's not to lock you into, that you have to do these. These are just some guidelines. And if you ever need to, reach out and ask us if this should count or get some ideas, you're more than welcome to do that. And then the last page that we have is kind of our training toolkit. So any kind of like video or resource that you need would be here. So if you need to access the training video that you viewed at the beginning, that would be here. And then we also here have some guide videos, especially, how to apply for a grant, how to submit an activity. We will put the recording that we're doing for this training. This will come here. This is last year's, but we will update that by next week. If you are interested in us doing a site visit, that request is here. We also want to include, point out the parent letter. So if you ever want to share with parents about what you're doing, we do have a letter in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole that you can share. And then I'll point out this green apple designation. A couple years ago, we did do a specific PD on green apple designation. So I've included the presentation here if you're interested in getting started. And again, we can assist you with more help on that if you need. And then I did mention the grants, so I just want to point out the Green Leadership grants. And then here's where you will find the applications. Again, it's a Google form, and then you will let us know, what the project is going to be, what the funds, what topic does it align with, what the funds are going to be used for, and how you're going to be completing that activity. So if you do need, help with ideas, some people, some years we have trouble giving out the money, unfortunately. So if you ever need, ideas on what you can do in your school, we've kind of put together a list. Again, it's not an end-all list, but these are just some of the previous projects that we've had before and funded before. Barbara, is there anything else specifically I should go over?
There is one question on the chat about K-8 centers. So K-8 centers can participate in both the elementary and the middle. And we're considering if you're doing middle school lessons, you're kind of in the pool with the middle school. But you could submit both if you are, having students participate at the elementary school level and doing the elementary school lessons. We consider you elementary school, but you could also submit for middle, and then we'll consider you middle school. So K-8, 6 through 12, same thing. If you're in a combination school, it depends on the specific lesson, but then you would get that school would technically be able to submit 2 lessons, one for the elementary for example, energy efficiency, and one for the middle if they did the lesson at the middle school level. So Rachel, I hope that answers your question a little bit, but that's with the K-8s and the 6 through 12s. You guys are technically considered 2 schools, but you don't have to register twice. You just have to register once, and it all depends on what you submit.
Yep. So I don't know if we want to take a few minutes now, Barb, to go over the lesson overview document. I will drop that link in the chat as well.
Yep, and if you could just make it bigger. My eyes are getting so Alexandra is dropping this specific link into the chat so you can follow along if you are able. And the big thing about this is, like we mentioned, we have lessons, and what you have here is kind of like the objectives and the benchmarks of each of the lessons. And, if you see a lesson that you like and you're a high school teacher, but, the lesson is at the middle school level and you want to do that, you would just have to go to the middle school curriculum to see that particular lesson plan. If you're a 4th, 5th grade teacher, but maybe you want to do another lesson, if you want to do a middle school lesson, or you want to do a 2nd and 3rd grade lesson because you like the topic or it fits better into your curriculum, what you're teaching, you are free to do so. Just let us know when you submit the form which lesson you have done. So this document that you're looking at basically has, as you could see, the grade level, the topic, the objective of the lesson, and what benchmarks we've put in there. Because it's a STEAM program, a lot of the lessons are obviously science-based and have those science benchmarks, but we tried to make it easy for everybody. If you're visual arts, language arts, math, if you teach gifted, we've tried to put those benchmarks as well in there. So we're going to very quickly go over just the objectives. And if you have any questions about the particular lesson, please feel free to share in the chat, or, get yourself off mute so you can answer. But again, you guys can all follow along. So just going to quickly go through to highlight some of the special opportunities we have with these. The energy efficiency lessons were all developed with Solar United Neighbors. So again, you'll see in the lesson plans that a lot of the information that is there will also encourage you to have somebody from Solar United Neighbors. And I know that there is a parent here who actually had their son, they participated in the SUN program and put solar, and the student actually went to advocate at the school level, at the school district level for solar. So again, this is a lot of this stuff, it goes beyond the classroom. But for energy efficiency at the pre-K and first, we're looking for the young students to identify what is energy, where are the sources of energy, and they'll conduct an energy expedition and create an energy collage. So kind of putting in a little bit of the arts component in there. For water quality at that level, they'll explore facts about our drinking water and where it comes from, why it should be conserved. And then they're going to be creating tips for home and school on how to conserve water. For waste management and recycling, they'll be exploring what does recycling mean, why is it an important waste management strategy, and the hands-on activity will be that they'll create their own reusable bag. For green living, we want them to explore their schoolyard or backyard and make observations of the plants and animals that they find. And basically, they'll create a class field guide in which each student or each pair, depending on your student, will create a page of an organism that they can find in their school. For alternative transportation, they'll be identifying different methods of transportation on how students get to their school, and create posters to promote more environmentally friendly ways, such as walking, biking, and carpooling. And finally, for food security at the pre-K first grade level, they'll be describing characteristics of plants and what they need, what their basic needs are, and they will then match vegetable seeds with the actual grown vegetable. This is an activity that was actually that we partnered with and took from the Florida Ag in the Classroom, and we will be having a workshop soon. We're trying to finalize the date in November with UF-IFAS Extension to build edible gardens, but also with the Food and Nutrition Program. And so stay on we'll be sharing that information, but this particular lesson for food security does come from the Florida Ag in the Classroom. Then for second and third grade level, energy efficiency is for them to kind of do an energy audit in their home, like a mini energy audit, obviously for second and third grade, and how to increase energy efficiency at home. For water quality, they'll be looking at what the watershed is, what affects its flow and health, and observe any drainage patterns. This lesson is also in conjunction with the Everglades Literacy Program, and they have great resources as well. And so for the waste management and recycling of second and third, they'll create a miniature landfill in a bottle to demonstrate understanding of waste disposal, and learned about the concept of landfills. Again, some hands-on activities for your students. For green living, we will focus on the lesson focuses on biodiversity and ecosystems, and they'll create their own artwork with natural materials. So if you can. For alternative transportation, it's a really interesting activity. The students will be designing online a vehicle, taking inspiration from nature. They will test what adaptations they would put into that vehicle through trial and error. And this is an online kind of very techie lesson, but really cute for second and third graders to build their own vehicle. For food security, they'll learn about food labels and comparing nutritional value of canned, frozen, and fresh fruits and vegetables, and analyze and compare. And again, this is a kind of data collection activity, and it's taken from the Florida Ag in the Classroom. For the 4th and 5th grade, energy efficiency and conservation, students will be asked to actually build solar cookers, and there are 4 or 5 examples, and they'll have to kind of pick which solar cooker they think, they have to build a hypothesis and, procedures and actually test. It'll be an experiment that they conduct. For water quality and conservation, focusing on adapting to sea level rise, and so looking at climate change and sea level and looking at the current adaptation strategies. Now, we're using Miami-Dade County as a case study, but we've also put in that lesson links to Broward County and Palm Beach County strategies on climate change and sea level rise, so that depending on where your students are, they can take a look at those strategies, and then they develop a model to manipulate the physical shoreline. For 4th and 5th, waste management, the students will log the amount of waste they generate in a day and learn about what happens to it afterwards. For 4th and 5th grade level, at the Green Living, they will explore the urban heat island effect. Miami-Dade County is one of our biggest partners, and they have a lot of resources related to extreme heat because, we are experiencing higher temperatures each year, and it's a big problem and it affects our health as well. So students will have a hands-on lab activity looking at the urban heat island effect and collecting temperatures in different locations. For alternative transportation, they will learn what makes a community bike friendly, and they will incorporate those strategies to actually create a protected bike lane. So where would they put this bike lane? What would this bike lane look like? And what are the benefits? That's what they will create. For food security, we'll talk about, they'll have an experiment in which they'll look at different types of soil and the importance of healthy soils for agricultural needs, and they'll make their own soil mixtures. For the middle school, again, middle school each has only one lesson per theme, but energy efficiency is looking at the differences between renewable and non-renewable energy sources, and they'll create an infographic for specific with one of those energy sources to show what they've learned. For water quality and conservation, they'll understand the science between sea level rise and analyze its effects. And this lesson was in partnership with the Climate Initiative, which is a national organization and has amazing resources as well for teachers. But this is one lesson that we're highlighting about sea level rise. And they'll do a photojournalism project where they'll be looking at how sea level rise may affect their community. If you can scroll down. For waste, we mentioned that was the one we highlighted previously to show the format is, they'll be exploring the negative effects of fast fashion. And the idea is that they research the amount of CO2 and water that is used to produce in a single item of clothing. And then they'll have to rethink and recreate an entire outfit that has, that would be like a more green outfit because of the impacts it has creating that. For Green Living, exploring at the middle school level green careers, they will consider how green careers benefit their community. And this was in collaboration with the Climate Generation organization, also a national organization that has amazing videos highlighting some of those green careers, from solar installation to other types. And so the students will get a chance to see that. For alternative transportation, looking at sources of air pollution and monitoring air quality for 1 week in various locations, and then creating a cause and effect chart on why they think that air quality is what they see in their recording. For food security, they will investigate the connection between fish kill and algal blooms and how it relates to the food production on land, and they will write an essay on solutions. Again, this is a lesson taken in part by the Climate Initiative with really neat videos associated with it. At the middle school level, at the high school level, they'll research how solar energy works, its history, effectiveness, and solution of energy efficiency. And then they will evaluate how panels can be used to prepare for storms in South Florida. As you all know, a lot of our schools is used as hurricane shelters. So there's a big movement in all of the counties actually to make sure that those shelters are self-sufficient and are thinking about how to put solar panels, how to put generators, how to put things so that they don't lose power when there's a storm, because they are shelters. So the students will look a little bit more into that at the high school level. For water quality, focusing on stormwater treatment area and reduces phosphorus level in the Everglades. Again, this is a lesson with the Everglades Foundation through the Everglades Literacy Program. And so they will participate in a community awareness campaign to promote local solutions. And more information, obviously, in the lesson. For waste at the high school, learn about various plastic-free initiatives, researching plastic alternatives, and they'll create a business plan that uses no single-use plastic, and they'll present that. For green living, we are doing our design and build competition again this year, and then they will be using strategic planning documents as a case study and put together a presentation of the top strategies they think cities should incorporate in planning for the future. And so this year we already have a location. It will be close to downtown in Brickell Key, and there's more information about that, and we'll be partnering again this year. We're hoping to extend our collaboration with the the Department of Architecture, to have college students mentor the high school students in creating these models. For alternative transportation, students will be looking at their county or city's transportation plan. And the idea is that they will identify their current issues and develop possible solutions to those transportation issues. And finally, for food security, they will learn about food waste on the environment. I was just at the county's PTA meeting just last Saturday, and there is for the Miami-Dade County PTSA, there is an environmental group subcommittee that a parent leads, and she was talking about, through Project Drawdown, which is a great resource, on 100 things that we can do to reduce our carbon emissions. Number 4 is actually reducing food waste. So it is on the top of what we can do, even more than putting solar, or even more than some of the other strategies that we think are very common. Reducing food waste is number 4 in the top strategies. So the students will be conducting a food waste audit, and there's information on how to do that. And like I said, are there any questions related to any of these lessons for right now?
I just quickly, so any idea that we see for any grade level, we can implement into what the students are doing, like as a create your own activity? Because I saw some really things that I was looking for already, but they're like for elementary or high school or something. Thank you.
Yes, Barbara.
Yes.
Okay, I was listening all the day. I gave me a lot of ideas, but I know a language or science teacher, I'm a Spanish teacher. Since I am into these planet issues, I am incorporating in my class a lot of these things that you have mentioned. Is that okay to submit like as a Spanish lesson plan?
Yes,
Okay.
and Dania, I would suggest that you email us as well, because I have some partners that we know of that have lessons in Spanish. So if you're teaching
it's okay.
Spanish,
It's okay.
you can also do
I can adapt this to my lesson, I don't need translation, it's not that. What I mean is, can I submit a lesson plan for a Spanish class with those topics? And the other thing, in my school, as Delphine spoke, we are conducting different clubs, but both of them have the same goals. And in this club, I'm going to implement many activities. So I am leading a club, and I am doing my activities in my classroom. So it doesn't matter, right? that
Doesn't matter.
we
Yeah.
should need activities, some made by a club, which is the whole school, and some made by my class.
Exactly. And you make a good point that we wanted to mention. So these lessons are are meant to be implemented in the classroom, but not necessarily. They're just in a lesson plan format. But I know, for example, there's a couple of parents here. Some parents have, they take it on, it's after school clubs and help out with those, or some of the high schools also do these as after school clubs. So, it's a very different way in which to teach, a concept in an after school club than in a classroom. So just pick and choose whatever works for you. And so if some of the lessons you implement in your classroom, that's perfectly fine. If some of them you do with your after school club or outside a regular classroom, that's also fine as well, and we'll give you points towards the competition portion.
I love the freedom that you give us to get out of the frame. I like it. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And so we have a breakout session that we are going to be breaking you all up to kind of talk a little bit more. So what we're going to do is, these are the 3 questions that we're going to be discussing in the breakout session. And again, you don't have to write them down now or anything, because we're going to be using Jamboard and you all are going to have access. So Alex, I can do in number 2. I already have that Jamboard link. Okay. So we are simply going to just divide everybody. Alexandra will take one and I will take the other one, just so like that we can talk a little bit more intimate, since we are a pretty big group. So I'm going to create those 2 breakout rooms, and then we will be back, Alex, by what, 11:45? This will just be a quick, or what time do we have?
11:45, yeah.
Great. So looking forward to speaking with you all. All right, and we're going to open all rooms right now and make sure that you all have a room. So whenever you have that pop up, please join. Alex and I'll join too. So we're actually going to stop